connect to Skype. I wonder if I should do that. Hi, I'm hopefully recording now. I'm going to find that out and add this to my playlist. Everyone, this is Theresa J Morris. I have retired and now I'm happy to be a part of our Ufology 101 classes. For those of you that are interested in ufology, I share alienology, cosmology, ufology, phenomenology, history, but this is through my own filters and my perceptions and my friends in social media. But I've not listened to anybody or anything for a very long time, but I have done my best to monitor as a journalist or analyst or reporter or investigator or however you want to say through the years. And yet I retired December 26, 2017. So many people have known me just in cyberspace alone. And maybe some in virtual reality, because some people said, what happened? Because Michael Jackson, or I was being an avatar named Michael Jackson in a software inside cyberspace. So ufology needs to begin with laying the groundwork for knowing the various levels and dimensions in time and space, and what we call space-time, but I don't have time today. That's why we're starting with the beginning of Ufology 101. So we'll stop there. And, okay, so you don't want me to stop there. Okay, thank you very much. All right, well, let me just lay down some information about what's going on in the world. We're getting ready for 2019. And I am what's called a psychic medium to some people. To others, I'm just strictly a near-death experiencer or an out-of-body experiencer, and they use NDE and OBE. Now, to some in the government, in the Stargate program, not the ultra mind control people, MK Ultra, that's a totally different class and totally different people. And Ufology 101 doesn't have anything to do with MK Ultra. However, we will give you our history of the MK Ultra at a later date. So I need to help those that are just street smart or just educated in academia, and I'm going to use the United States of America because this is going to be able to be heard by the entire global populace when it is time, because many people are not involved in the alien ET UFO community, meaning these are people that believe there's aliens, extraterrestrials, and UFOs. And UFOs can go back to flying saucers, and before that, Foo Fighters. Now, in today's time, we use unidentified aerial phenomena because there are those of Earth origin and those not of Earth origin. Now, real quickly, let me stop there again. Now, that right there will be another class. People need to understand that when we come on the planet, we can choose to make our own choices. And I'm following this under spirituality, okay? Because it's really news only if you choose it to be news. And in news, we have information, misinformation, and disinformation. So that's another class too. So stop there. And what this recording is for today is as Theresa J Morris broadcaster. And I can upgrade to an anchor man apparently with Spreaker. So this needs to be understood that we're also in Ufology 101 going to have a class on how to use computers and cell phones and tablets. So stop there until we have more information we can share. Then we're going to have, I got to plug this in really Come on. I thought I was going to... I've ruined some laptops, folks. I know you're just listening, and I could be on... Oh, goodness. Hold on before I lose touch with you here, if I haven't already. Let's see. Okay, it came back on. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord for that. Now, I am going to say on that as you can see, I just had to plug up my laptop, but it's got 50%, well, less than 50% actually, but it went dark on me, and so I'm not touching any buttons while I'm recording. But believe it or not, I am learning on the planet the same as you, so you take that for what it's worth. I am a student of life in the game of life, and there are various levels and dimensions out there in universes, and I named it this. So this is going to be a separate class too, and why I separate the 7, because we're going to have a Ascension Age class versus New Age class, which includes, well, both of those. The Aquarian Age, New Age, Ascension Age are separate. Many people don't understand that. That is a point of origin try, and that can be a separate class. So just keep listening, because this is off the top of my head, because what I'm going to tell you is this is my test to learn how to communicate regarding American Communications Online. Now, this is so I can be human and interact with other humans in this reality. And this is, for lack of better words, what we call 3D reality. And the dimensions is a separate class. So let's use that. Stop there. That's a separate class. The reason I'm doing this off the top of my head is because I want you guys to know that I lived this, and this is my story. We all are the author of our own life story. And that is part of our publishing and helping those in our Authors Book Club with our ACO association of many of our authors and various people that have come to me with their publishing companies. And I have worked with others, including Bill M. Tracer of our Authors Book Club. And we have the American Communications Online ACO group. And I never did do a corporation or an LLC, basically because the federal government didn't want me to. And I can get into that because teaching people how to file is another class. And we're going to do that in Ufology 101, believe it or not, because the federal government still exists in America. So Ufology 101 is going to be presented on this entire planet in English and with American Communications Online as the sponsor and holding company. And I've discussed this with other people inside the computer industry, including GoDaddy, which is a whole nother class on if you need a cPanel or if you use WordPress, or how we communicate, because I've been a student since way back before 98 2000, but I used computers in the government first. And that, I believe, is where I came into working for the government. So that may be a different class as well. So let's stop there. That's a class. Now, the new class of Ufology 101, I began as a teacher, but I had to begin as a student back in 1967, May of 1967. I was in Houston, Texas, and I signed all this paperwork first. And I didn't really know what I was getting into. I just signed the paper because Yvonne McCutcheons of the Houston Spinnerets presented it to a lot of very pretty girls, and we were talented, and we could sing and dance and twirl batons. And we went over to the Hyatt, no, it was the Warwick Hotel, excuse me. I'm just doing this off the top of my head, so I have to use my memory data for those that follow human data that we've collected, and this is live, and I'm not told my human family that I'm doing this, and I'm hoping my higher families at the various levels in UFO business know that I'm doing this. I guess this is going to fade out every few minutes, and I'm going to have to tap something. So this is just something to do with using this particular tool or laptop. So with me, you're going to have to bear with me because I'm going to be 67 years old. And I've been asked to do this by myself, my higher oversoul, if you will. Get woo-woo on you. But I don't know any other way to talk except the way that I was programmed on the planet. So when I went through all this government paperwork and intelligence, my government in the United States of America had to qualify me, first of all, and they kept me from the time I was in high school on paper. Now, I went ahead, and what saved me from all the drugs and paraphernalia that they get out there and sell and having any education was I was inside the bubble, and many people didn't travel outside of the United States, very rarely for vacations back in the day, unless you had a lot of money. And so I'm starting with 1967 for me. Now, some of you may know of my history before that, and so we will do autobiographies. We're going to tell our own life stories in Ufology 101. Now, with that said, I have retired, so we're going to say, all right, Theresa, you were born in December 26, which is very important date because of other stories in UFO lore, and whether they're true or not, unless I was there personally, either mentally, physically, spiritually, in other words, in body form. I will not share that with you in 3D because other people have shared it, unless we want to do a historical account based on other people's stories. So we're going to keep Ufology 101 and the history, and you are the author of your own life story, as the benefit of being a member and friend of mine in my ACO club. So with that, history and TJ Morris Publishing and TJ Morris Reporter and TJ Morris Radio and the UFO Secret Space program, our command, if you will, our being a reader, our speaker, or going to any of the new conferences from 2018. That's going to change a lot in 2019. But for right now, we're going to shut that off. So that's another class. Now, the history and how we separate Ace Folklife Society and the Smithsonian and what we save in folklore and culture, that's very important. And that even goes and stems back to historical accounts, and I'm going to throw in American Library Association in there too. And in that also Marvel Comics, Comic-Con, and those type of conferences. And maybe even because it's part of our culture is anime conferences, and we have Comic-Con, and they're sort of blending together. So we will do a history thus far up to 2018 and how the conferences influence our entire world. So mark that as a class, because conferences alone have a culture all its own. So keep that as a separate class. Then we have the radio and all the new podcasting going on that has developed inside the internet bubble, and radio shows and how you use all the equipment. We have plenty of people on what we now use with Google and YouTube. So this is the direction we're going, so we can go forward and help each other. And so what you listen to and what you choose in choices is now extremely important to how you are going to realize that you are creating your own